Friends versus users. There's a thin line between the two. See, friends come and go. And of course, friends have an ending point. That's the whole purpose of the word ending it. And of course, boyfriend, girlfriend, end. Everything has an end. Now, when we're talking about users, these can be agenda purposes that's behind these circumstances and situations. Also, it could be gender purposes when it comes to friends, all kind of relationships in general. See, now this is a thin line between knowing when you're being used or you're being a friend, because people, places, and things will use you for what you have, and of course, they're not gonna really put themselves in positions and positionings to basically give two fucks about it. They're gonna basically use you for what you have, and of course, being used for what you have is something that they value. They don't have these things because, of course, if they had these things, they wouldn't be looking towards you to value these shits. They already have their things that they value and pretty much what they own and worth. So this is a thin line between the two. And you got to also separate yourself from these circumstances and situations, because if you're not doing these things, then you're going to keep repeating the same circumstances and situations all over again. And of course, you don't want to keep repeating the same experiences that put you in that frame or that mind state from the beginning. And of course, history repeats itself, especially if you're not the one that's taking responsibilities of your history. Because understand and overstand, his story repeats itself. So you need to create your own story. You need to create your mystery, my story, mystery. So it's the whole purpose of getting to your mysterious experiences. And of course, if you're not controlling your experiences, and of course, if you're not putting yourself in positions to not be experiencing the shit that you don't want to experience, then of course you're going to keep experiencing other programs, other ways to get caught up into scenarios. Because understand, everybody left their footprints in the sand, and everybody walked this earth. Everybody walked this earth. So you don't want to keep experiencing ghost experiences, and you don't want to basically entitle these things into your life. So it's very important to basically take full responsibilities of who you're dealing with, or who you basically interacting with, or who you putting into your circle, or trust in your space. Because of course, if your space is compromised with a whole lot of vampires and a whole lot of users and a whole lot of friends that ain't really your friend, then you're gonna basically follow the thin line between that, and of course you're gonna have a wake up call, and you're gonna see the nightmare roll right between your eyes. 10 times out of 10, you're always going to be used for something, no matter what. You're going to be used for your clout. You're going to be used for your energy. You're going to be used for your money. You're going to be used for your travel expenses. You're going to be used for something. Understand that. That's the whole purpose of valuing things, or things being valued into this world. You're going to be used for something. So whatever's being predicated towards that area, just know. And of course, if you went to the stars, you would know exactly what's going on. You would know where are the areas that you're going to be used at. Because of course, we all stars. And of course, we all on the stage to basically play out our role and our ways of doing things. But of course, if you're following somebody else's role, then you're not going to be going down to your role. You're going to be going out to somebody else's role. Of course, you're going to be dealing with miscellaneous misunderstandings. So of course, you don't want to be misunderstood. You want to be understood. So this comes down to the point of friends versus users. Now, a user is going to basically drain you, suck you up like a vampire, like a gummy worm, pretty much. So this is the signs that you need to understand this perspective. That's why it's so important to basically keep a journal with you, keep a book with you. So whatever frequencies and energies that you're not corresponding with each other, and of course, if you're not agreeing with this kind of energy that they basically play back in at you or flashbacking at you, then you need to write down in your book of the attacks and the breaks that you don't want to experience from this person. Because of course, it's going to be hardship every time you experience something that you don't want to experience between this person. So it's very highly important to basically know where these locations and know where these vortexes and vibes is coming from, so you won't have to basically participate in these same energies on a day-to-day basis. And of course, this is a circumstance situation where you have to be highly aware and highly alerted about these things. You have to have clairvoyance. You have to see these things from a mile away. Because if you're not spiritually inclined, and of course, if you have a whole lot of shit on your heart and your weight, and of course a whole lot of shit on your mind, it's gonna be too foggy. Things gonna look like Skittles right now, and of course, when you clear all that shit out, it ain't gonna look like Skittles. It's gonna look like a dark person, a black person, a motherfucker that's basically willing to drain your energy, drain you for everything you have, and of course put you on a crucifixion. Just like how when they play these certain movies, when just Jesus Christ figure, he had a few people with him and shit. And of course, everybody was supposed to ride or die for him. But when it was his time to get crucified, the motherfuckers turned on his ass. he wasn't really who he said he was. He was basically out here flexing. So of course, if you out here flexing with the wrong people and flexing the wrong muscles with the wrong people, one day that's gonna be put to test. Of course, when they fail that test, they ain't gonna be able to actually come back from that test. Because of course, that test that they just failed, you already seen from your own eyes, and of course, he's seen from his own eyes. He basically was on that cross, getting crucified, and seeing everything that he was basically experiencing from all these perspectives. So this is very highly important to be aware of what's going on when you're dealing with these energies, because on a day-to-day basis, you have to be on point. You have to be on your P's and Q's. Not everybody can be trusted in your circle. And of course, you got to keep your circle very strong and powerful. Because of course, if your circle ain't strong or powerful, then of course, you can get flipped and overflipped by these scenarios. And of course, it's going to put you in the circumstance situation of reciprocating those energies, getting caught up and getting trapped. And of course, you want to get trapped, because of course, to get trapped with the wrong people, places, and things, your ass become a battery that's drained. And of course, you don't want to keep getting drank by the damn horse. You need to create your own pond, and of course, create your own way of going there to get your own water. So of course, just how squirrels get their own nuts, birds get their own nuts. You got to create your own nest. Feel me? Don't be relying on no motherfucking government to basically help you out your situation. You got to learn how to do shit on your own. Of course, you become a consumer. This is what happened. Of course, you got consumed by someone that was using you. That's about 10 times out of 10. When you have friends, or you have whoever you connected with, you got to be very up in front and personal with these people. Let these people know, yo, I only fuck with you because of this. That's it. That's all. That relationship, that conversationship, and that was shit between us should not basically sell together, because we going into our own league. So of course, we can stop, we can talk, we can chit chat, but understand that you cannot get on my shit, because I only need you for certain things and certain qualifications, certain things that we can talk about, certain things that we can basically interact with. But of course, when it comes to relationships and bonds, you cannot jump on my ship. You have to be very clear and very personal with people. Because of course, if you leave your doorway open, this is how they can send those energies your way. And of course, you don't want to be developing the wrong energies on your spaceship. It's a whole lot of shit, a whole lot of tools that was created to build your spaceship. So if your spaceship is basically inheriting bacteria and energies that wasn't there to basically help out, or teamwork made the dream work, then of course you're going to put yourself in a sinking hole. Of course, you're going to start to get holes in your ship. You're going to start to basically have rats crawling all around, sharks, little small fishes and sharks, and all kind of bacteria and all kind of parasites going to start crawling into your areas. You ain't going to see this shit, though. I mean, everything gonna be looking good. The snake's gonna start to come too. All these motherfuckers about to start to come, because you left your spaceship open. You allow people to basically come into your area, seclude you, and of course, drink you up, and of course, use you as a battery too. So you gotta be very careful, because these motherfuckers just use you for what you have at the moment. Of course, when they get to point A to point B, they won't look back. They will be like, oh, who you? Who the fuck is you? They be like, they gonna forget about all the times that you helped their ass. But of course, in the saying of saying, you don't owe nobody shit. Nobody owes you shit. That's why if you put yourself in a position of not being in that frequency or in that vibration or having your doorway open, you won't be out here looking and lurking to basically look for something that was basically that you gave out. Remember, you gave out. You didn't have to give out. You could have said yes. You could have said no. But of course, you said yes. So of course, that's what you're dealing with. That's your consequences. That's what you basically reciprocated. And of course, how you feel about the circumstance situation, you need to tell that person up front, yo, you did this, you got to do that. So if it's not reciprocated back, then of course you already know how to cut ties with a motherfucker. And you no need to basically bring out new scissors or GMO scissors. You got the right scissors in your hand. And of course these scissors can cut. So make sure you cut in the right shapes and the right tools to make sure these shapes are not shaping and forming right back into your life to create the same circumstances and situations that stagnated you in the first place. So of course you gotta learn how to eliminate and separate from individuals that do not belong in your space. Motherfuckers to drink you dry. Use you as a motherfucking battery tool. Use you as your crutch, and of course, once you become too codependent on you, this is spite the senses, your spiritual perspective saying, yo, get this motherfucker out your space. So now it's starting to become a burden. Of course, you want to have no burdens in your life or no burdens on your back. You're already dealing with a whole lot of shit. Why this person not getting themselves situated? For me, there's no excuses in life. Yeah, it's good to help at times and shit, but of course, once the help start to become a burden and your back is starting to get heavy, you start to basically fall right back down to that frequency, fall right back down to that vibration. Now you start to become frustrated. Why this motherfucker always looking at me? Why this motherfucker always begging me? Now, for me, now you vibrate along with their energy. See how you was basically in another vibe, in another situation, you came right back down to that person. Like, goddamn, how the fuck you come back down here to hell? Get your ass up out of that hell. Get your power back. Be aware. Because, of course, if you're not aware, if you don't have this lens, the internal lens to basically see from internal perspectives, you won't be able to actually pick up the gut feelings. You won't be able to actually pick up all the internal feelings or internal messages that you're basically starting to receive to you from your insides. And of course, it's not going to be reciprocated in shape and form, but of course, the experiences that you're experiencing is going to reciprocate and of course be right back directed to you to flow into your perspective, to be able to actually come to you like, hey, you got mail, check your mail. Because of course, you're always going to hear that shit. You're always going to hear that feeling like, yo, check your mail, check your gut, check your feeling, check your emotion, check this person, check this place, check this thing. You got to be aware of this shit, because this shit don't this shit don't stop, you feel me? And of course, the more you keep allowing your area to be open, the more you're not covering up these holes, the more the water keep coming in, the water start pumping out. Feel me? Your feelings and emotions start to basically drown all over the place. Feel me? This person insecurities on the way they feel start to basically come in your ship. Now you got a whole lot of shit to deal with. Every day you got to leak. Every day you got to basically fix this area there. Every day you got to fix this interior, this exterior. Of course, you want to keep putting yourself into those reciprocations. So make sure you are reciprocating the right frequencies, the right vibrations, the right energies that can basically be on your ship. Of course, balance, equilibrium is key. Of course, if there's no balance, if there's no equilibrium, there's no keys. And of course, you ain't gonna have no keys to open no new doors. Because of course, the doors that you're trying to open, yes, take care of the doors that's down here. All these other doors is basically not being shut properly. All these other doors is open and vulnerable. So of course, you don't want to put yourself in that vulnerable ass state. You want to make sure you put yourself in a state and a location where everything is more convenient and more reliable to go into your favors. This way, you're not basically playing somebody else's favors or somebody else's hands while they sitting back basically collecting you as a motherfucking fruit. Of course, you are the tree, you are the fruit, you got all the fruits and vegetables on your motherfucking tree. So motherfuckers be like, okay, I don't got my tree, so let me come take from this person's tree. Let me come ask this person for this. Like, what's going on, man? You have a body, you have a mentality, you have a brain. What is going on? You need to basically put in some work. For me, you gotta put people, places, things to the test. They ain't willing to basically put in some spiritual work for you to show them they approval, or at least, for me, you gotta have an equilibrium and balance. For me, that person can't owe you money wise. You better put their ass to the spiritual test wise. And of course, this is how you get things going. This way, you won't have a circumstance situation where you have to pennywise a motherfucker. You'll put them in a place or put them in a position where you have to go chase after that motherfucker. When the kids grew some balls and force, put that motherfucker in his place. Sometimes you gotta grow some balls. Sometimes you gotta really man up and woman up and tell this person like, yo, what's going on right now? Feel me? While every time you always put yourself in this situation, while every time your ass feeling vulnerable, while every time you're always in this position, something gotta give. Something you're not doing something right. Feel me? You're not vibrating high. You're not helping yourself. Of course, if you're not helping yourself, if you don't feel sorry for yourself, others won't feel sorry for you. Others won't give a fuck about you. If you don't know how to love yourself, ain't nobody else is gonna love you. For me, everybody gonna look at you like, okay, well, this person look crazy. This person out here looking out of control. 10 times out of 10, some way, shape, or form, somebody, universe, or somebody gonna work through a person to basically show you that you should basically be doing these things in the right perspective, as in loving yourself and taking care of yourself. But of course, if you're being too codependent on these circumstances and situations, it's going to make it break you more, because of course you're not doing the inner work. You're not basically taking care of your internal changes. Of course, when you're not taking care of your internal world, then your internal world is fucked up. You ain't going to be able to actually manifest anything on the outside world. So of course, looking outside yourself is the worst thing you could basically do if you're in a fucked up circumstance situation. You need to look within inside yourself, clear out what don't belong. Make sure that you have the dresses and the right dresses, the right sizes, to make sure whatever you don't wear anymore, whatever don't fit you no more, make sure you get rid of these shits. Because of course, in the verse like to expand and go, when you a kid, you ain't gonna be able to actually wear these clothes forever. So of course, you gotta learn how to reciprocate those energies and those clothes to someone else that's gonna be able to actually wear that size. This is the time where you need to basically expand and find your right size, your true size. And of course, you don't want to be putting yourself in circumstance situations of wearing the wrong shit or wearing the wrong size. So of course, if you're not wearing the right size, you're not in your right size, you're not in your right growth, you're not in your right spectrum. So of course, you're gonna look very unorganized, you're gonna look very chaotic, and of course, you're not gonna look more of the part, as in your perspective. People, places, things gonna be giving you where it looks and where it vibes. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta motherfucking do. But of course, if you know that shit don't fit you, and you know that shit gonna feel uncomfortable on you, you need to change something up real fast. And of course, if you ain't switching up or changing up, the motherfucker, Universe and God will show you signs and clues that you need to do that shit. But of course, stay true to the game, and of course, watch these motherfuckers and let niggas know how you really truly feel about them up front and personal.